Warning, this video contains graphic content. Viewer discretion advised.
All right, it's about to get weird in the kitchen. Let's make some Souse Loaf or head hog cheese. Basically, all this is meat jelly. We're going to boil this head down for about 4 hours on low, and it'll just fall apart, and you can make some deliciousness. This is really good for the carnivore diet because it's real fatty. All right, so what we need to do is cut this open and check to make sure all the hairs are off of it, and we're going to give it a good rinse. So if you're going to use a whole head, make sure they cut it in half so you can get to all the goodness. All right, let's get this in a large pot and start filling it up with some water. All right, as you can see, this pot barely fits, but it does fit. So let's get it filled up with water to about this far. We don't want it overflowing, and let's get it on the stove. All right, so the seasonings are going to vary because of the size of the head, the pot. So this is kind of a wing it and make it happen. Your main seasonings will be when you actually assemble the loaf. So I'm going to be using 8 packets of the Sazón Goya. I'm going to use a cup of the menudo spice, peppery flavor, and I'm going to use 8 whole bay leaves. We're going to add some salt. We got to do this carefully. I don't want to over salt this. My salt's a little bit old. Now, some people will soak their hog head the night before, like 12 to 24 hours, in salt water and then rinse it off. I'm not doing that. One thing else to note is your seasonings and flavor tastes are yours. Like I say, this is a wing it. Mostly your flavor is going to be added after it's all been boiled down and been put into a pot before you actually form the gel. All right, now we just put a lid on it and monitor it. Once we get it boiling, we'll turn it back down to a simmer and let it cook for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. You'll want to take a fork and everything will just start falling off. Like the nose will literally fall into the water. So we're roughly 3 hours in. You can see that it's starting to come off. Possibility I might go 5 hours. I don't know. I'm in no rush. I started early so I can have some for dinner. But as you can see, the bone, everything, the tongue's coming out. So it's doing its job. Look at that. Oh yeah, big old peeling piece. This is going to be epic. All right, so we're coming up on 5 hours in. The meat has fallen completely off the bone. You can see that the brain is still in there. The tongue is out. Not much left of it. It's completely used up. There's a little bit of meat right there. We'll go through this and pick it out here shortly, but we're there. Right in about 10 minutes, I'm going to turn this off and start letting it cool down. All right, so we're at the 5 hour mark. I'm going to call it. That's looking really good. All the meat's off the bone. We're going to let it cool down for about a half hour, 45 minutes before we go to the next step. If you're in a rush, put the plunger in your sink. Fill it up with cold water with this in it until it gets to about here. And that will cool this down really quickly. But you don't want to cool it down all the way because it'll start getting gelatinous, and we don't want that yet. All right, so once you scoop all the goodness out of the skull, you're going to come in here. Yes, I've already started. I wanted to see how messy it was going to be. Didn't want to catch that on camera. But we're going to want to strain out all of the edible stuff. To me, everything's edible. So this is where I differ than most people, and I might catch some flack. But I put mine in a blender, and I take it all down. I don't cut it, and I don't dice it. A lot of people do, not me. Okay, not too much juice, but what you want to do is give it just a little bit of the broth. About like that. Now pulse. All right, so I'm tasting the broth. And I mean, it is money. It is beautiful taste. Need a little bit of work though on that. So for flavor, we're going to be adding in bacon grease. It is, to my understanding, the difference between Souse Loaf and hog head cheese. Apple cider vinegar. Half a cup. I don't have my glasses on, but that looks good. We don't want it to be overpowering. We want it to be subtle. So I'm going to mix just a little bit in, like half of this in for right now. All right, let's heat it up. We're going to want the consistency of a sloppy mop. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay, then we're going to heat it back up. Add some more broth back to it. Okay, let's keep adding some more. Ah, there we go. That's the sloppy mop we want right there. I'm not adding salt, nothing. I nailed it right there, perfect. I put in a 1/4 cup of this. It's got the subtle apple cider vinegar. It's perfect. Let's get our tureens out, or our loaf pans, whichever ones you want to use. Okay, so this has been simmering about 15 minutes, getting the apple cider vinegar all incorporated and just making it all one. So I buttered up some of my loaf pans, and I'm going to put that into there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let it cool down to room temperature, put them in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours. You'll know it's ready when it's completely congealed over. Best bet is to let it sit overnight, but there's no way I'm going to let these ones sit overnight. I'm going to have some for dinner. All right, 4 o'clock. I've already pulled one of the loaves apart and cut it. Yeah, I tried it. It's delicious. So that's what it looks like when it comes out. It does need a little bit of salt. So normally this is served on crackers, or some people put it on toast. I'm going to eat it just like this because I can't have crackers. It don't look like much, but it's delicious. If you guys give this a try, let me know in the comments. Stay safe. Have an amazing day.